What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this I want to break down what's happening with the overall market. Just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY. The offer ends very soon, in just about 4 days from now. Anyways, for the market, I just want to say that I believe that something very, very big is brewing. Tesla saw a dump today alongside the overall market after Jerome Powell's speech had concluded. The speech didn't really say anything that was too significant, didn't include anything too crazy, and the market dumped as soon as he finished speaking. So the market is dipping right now. I think we're going to continue to dip for a little bit longer, but then I think there's going to be a big bounce because tomorrow is going to be Friday, right? And before the market opens, we have the PCE data report coming out. So I think what's basically happening is they are dumping the market in preparation for another pump for PCE. It sounds crazy, but I think that's most likely what's about to happen. So I say that because when you look at SPY, we are dipping right now. We have this gap to fill. I don't know if we're going to fill the entire gap, but I think between 570 and 572 SPY is going to bottom. So I think we could dip another couple of points. It's possible, but even if we do, we're going to be completely fine because to turn bearish, we need to lose 568. We need to lose the 20 EMA. We have not done that yet. And I think that they are going to dip us a little bit lower just to cause a really, really nice bounce after PCE. And we could break all-time highs again. I think that we are still in a powerful phase as long as we're above our 20 EMA. And I don't think that we're done quite yet. So my view of the market is that we're going to dip a little bit more. We could dip, try to finish filling this gap. But then once we're down here, this could be a long entry opportunity because of PCE data. Remember, the market's very tricky. They want all of us to turn into big bears, thinking the market's going to crash. The crash is starting. It's almost October, only for them to do the opposite. So I think that's what's about to happen. They're going to screw over everyone. For the people out there who are buying shorts right now, they're going to win temporarily and then they're going to end up failing. For the people that are buying the market up here, they're also going to fail. It's going to screw over everyone. So that's what I think is about to happen. So I think the market may dip a little bit more. They may bring it down to fill this gap. And then towards the end of the day, this is going to pivot. And then by tomorrow, we should be looking for a nice rebound thanks to PCE data. As far as Tesla goes, I think that this could dip a little bit more. The 4-hour 20 EMA is currently at this 250 area. I think Tesla could be dipping to 252, if not 250, come a little bit lower. And then once we get the PCE report, we might be looking for a rebound on Tesla. As long as we don't lose 249, that's going to likely be the case. So look for the lower 250s to be tested on Tesla. Could dip a little bit more, but this may be a long entry. Now, I wouldn't risk too much because it is risky to play PCE, but the last time CPI came out, it was decent, and there's a good chance PCE is going to be fine as well. And I think that we could dip a little bit more on Tesla. We could be approaching our 20 EMA, and then that could lead to a very, very nice looking move. So I think that we're just waiting to see how this ends up going. Tesla is likely setting up for a very similar move. We could dip towards 250 to 252. And then once we bottom, as long as we don't lose 249, we should be looking for a big bounce going into tomorrow. Now, if we do lose 249, I will turn more bearish. I'd be anticipating 244. Just want to be very, very clear about that. But I'm not as confident it's going to be going that low. It might dip a little bit and try to bounce off our 20 EMA. For other factors out there, we have ES. This is dipping right now. Notice it's still holding its 20 EMA. So it is possible we get very, very close to it in this 5790 zone, 5793 or so. And then I think that if we do end up testing this, we could try to rebound again. We haven't lost critical support, and we do have PCE coming out for tomorrow. So they might use this as another form of manipulation. So look for a little bit more downside on ES. We could be tipping for 5,800, if not a little bit lower than that, before this attempts to rebound again. So I'll be watching for that very, very carefully. For Nvda, we are dipping right now. We basically have this imbalance down here at this 123.5 area. If that fails us, we could technically go all the way down to about 121, but I'm not really too confident it's going to dip that much. I think that Nvidia could be dipping for 122 or so, but then there should be a bounce coming because of the fact that we haven't fully made this move up. And because of the fact that we are still technically holding our key supports, we haven't lost 120. So I'll be watching to see this dip a little bit more. We could be dipping for 123.5, if not the 121 area. It could dip a little bit more, a few points before this tries to bounce. Bitcoin's going to likely dip a little bit more as well. We could be looking for a test of about 64,500, if not 63,800, before this tries to bounce back up again. So look for a little bit more downside before the move ends up being made. For NQ, we pumped very nicely all the way up to about 20,500, only to reject. So as long as we don't lose 20,200, this will favor a rebound. Excuse me, a little rebound. So I think it might dip to 20,200 towards the 20 EMA, then try to bounce off that. I think that we're holding well. If we lose 20,200, we could dip a little bit lower to 20,000 flats. I think between 20,000 and 20,200, this is going to base, and there should be an attempt to rebound after that. I also want to call out the QQQ because I don't think we're done yet. So when you look at the QQQ, when you look at the daily charts, this it's dipping, but we still haven't fully completed this gap fill. So I still think the QQQ has more upside potential. I think what's going to happen is we dip a little bit more. We could be dipping towards 485 again if 487 fails us. So look at 487, 485 as supports, and then we'll see if we bounce off one of those levels to eventually try to push up to fill this gap into the 490s. So I'll be watching to see if that ends up being the case. For Apple, we are holding up decently. I think that Apple's still trying to break out right over here. Even though it could dip a little bit with the market, it may attempt to rebound once we get up to this key level. So we could dip a bit only to rebound to 230. It's still very possible for them to try to pump things. So we'll see how things go. For others out there like the IWM, we're dipping right now. It is possible we come back down to gap support around 218, if not the gap fill for the lower level. So I think we might be dipping for 218, if not a little bit below that, before we try to rebound. I don't think that we're officially super bearish. We might just dip a little bit more into the lower 218s before we see some buyers step in. For others out there, like the Coinbase stock, we have 176 as resistance, and we have support at 173. I think we could be dipping towards 173 before we try to rebound. So overall, there is an uptrend right over here, and we'll see how things go. Coin could be dipping with Bitcoin down to like 172.5 to 173 before it tries to rebound. Maybe it goes a little bit lower, closer to 170, but there should be a rebound coming. Amazon's dipping right now quite a bit. We'll see if 190 holds. If not, we're going down to 188, and we'll be watching this. If we bounce off 188, that's going to be a very, very key support at the 50 EMA. So look for more downside on Amazon before it tries to bounce. Meta is going to be testing 562. If that fails us, we're going all the way down to about 555. Off one of those levels, we could be looking for some buyers to step in. So 562 to 555 is where we could see some buyers. Also dipping on Microsoft, we're looking for support at 429. If that fails us, we're going to be dipping all the way down to 426. So I think we could be dipping all the way down to 429, if not 426. Then we could try to rebound after that. So watch and see if that ends up being the case. And finally, for Google, I just want to say that Google had this head and shoulders like structure. It is possible we dip down to fill this gap. We're going to be looking to see if 163.8 holds us. If not, we could be coming down. Excuse me, we could be coming down to 163. And we'll see if we bounce off that or not. So I think we might be dipping to 163 before we try to bounce. So my view of the market is there's going to be more downside coming, guys. Expect more downside. But the market's going to bounce very, very soon once we base. And I think SPY may base very close to this 570 area. Tesla's also going to base very soon around this very, very key support. We'll see if we try to hold 249 to 250. We called out these levels, and we could be dipping a little bit more before we see some buyers attempt to defend. If it's not 249, Tesla should be bouncing closer to 244. So watch that 249 to 250 areas are support. If not 244, and there should be a big bounce after that. I think that people are going to turn overly bearish. They're going to expect the market to crash. But instead, because we're approaching PCE tomorrow morning, we might get an opposite reaction just to fool as many bears as possible. That's what my view is. So look for a little bit more downside, and we'll see how things go. I thank you all for listening, so please have a great day. Thank you so much for listening, and peace out.